And we're here at the Petroleum Club in Abu Dhabi at Adipec 2012, and I'm absolutely honoured and delighted to be joined by the Honourable Minister from the United Kingdom, Mr. Alan Duncan, the Minister of State for International Development. So thank you so much for joining us. A big honour, of course, to have you here today as well. A lot of British companies here at Adipec this year, and they're all looking forward to your visit. Why is there so much more interest in a conference like Adipec?
Well, I think that there's a fantastic relationship between the UK and the UAE, but there's also a fantastic relationship, particularly in the oil and gas sector. And British business is thriving, and it's fantastic to see 50 British companies with a stand here at Adipec. And I think that says so much. It says that we are busy in the oil and gas sector in a diversified way. Shell and BP have been here for years. They're great. But it's not just Shell and BP. It's all the other companies as well who are also, I hope, training Emiratis to understand the sector and in the end work in their own country as Emiratis.
And indeed, I've been over at the pavilion, and as you say, the big companies are of course here, but a lot of very interesting companies, services companies, pipe companies, tool companies, some of the great British manufacturing that's there too within the oil and gas industry. So again, I presume they're looking at this region too as a huge growth market for them.
Yes, I mean, our big oil companies have, of course, had interests all over the world, but over the last few decades, we've also had enormous activity in the North Sea. And from North Sea oil production has come enormous expertise, particularly in very hostile environments like the choppy cold waters of the North Sea. And so that expertise can now be transferred. And of course, the oil and gas sector needs technology in order to make it more efficient and also to try and decarbonize a lot of the activities. So Britain's in a very strong position, and we're very glad to have such a good presence here.
One of the other relationships that you have, of course, with the UAE is the Masdar project with the London Array, and I'm sure you're going to be visiting them as well. But how important are these links, not just the oil and gas, when you're looking at renewables? I guess it's all about energy.
Well, I think that's right. I mean, in the modern world, you've got to look at energy across the whole spectrum. It's not just either oil and gas or renewables. You've got to look at everything. And of course, here now in the UAE, you're looking at nuclear development, where we also have expertise. I mean, I used to be in the oil business. Before I went into politics, I was an oil trader. So I always have a love for the sector. But, you know, I'm a bit out of date in some ways. The technology for new techniques and new expertise is changing every day.
But recently I was at OPEC, actually. They just released their World Oil Outlook, and the one key thing that is good for this business too, they're saying it's going to be around fossil fuel is still probably the predominant fuel for a long time, and again good for the North Sea, good for people here. We're very, very grateful that you're here too, of course, at the Middle East Petroleum Club. You are indeed the first keynote speaker here, and I'm sure you've had a chance to talk with many of our members here. What's the feedback you're getting from people, and we're thrilled to have you here?
I think I'd sum it up in one word: enthusiasm. And it's very good to sense the enthusiasm on both sides, from the UAE and from the UK. I mean, there is a genuine, deep and wide-ranging commercial relationship, which, based on my own Prime Minister's visit here last week, we want to build, and to build for the long term in the same way as we've already had 7 decades of close association in the oil sector here already.
But super, long may it continue. Thank you so much, and I hope we'll see you back at the Middle East Petroleum Club again. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed.